Thank you very much. We're live with the Deputy President, William Ruto. And I think where I should start is to say thank you about the shoe. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. And we were talking about, before we took the break, we were talking about your relationship with President Uhuru Kenyatta, with whom you were running mates in the 2013 and 2017 election. Put this matter to rest tonight, Dr. Ruto. What went wrong?
I think the style changed, and I have told you that it is the prerogative of the president, being the boss, and the boss is right, to change the style of how he wants to deliver the program that we have and government business. And we had a different style from 2013 to 2017. From 2017 this way, I think two major things happened. We had a plan. We sat down. We got professionals to sit down with us because the first plan was to lay the foundation. That's why we did the SGR, we did the roads, we did the electricity, we did the TVETs and education. The second phase of our plan was now to build on that foundation and transform lives, create jobs, create businesses, deal with healthcare through the universal health coverage, food security and manufacturing to create jobs and housing. And I think because of change of style and new advisors and new players were brought into the picture, the priorities changed. Now it became handshake and BBI. The whole Big Four agenda kind of took a back burner, or it slowed down. And so there were new players, so my space, the space I occupied before, was taken up by other people who were now advising the president on how to move things forward. And also, the priorities changed because now it became urgent to change the constitution.
No.
And we've been at it now for 4 years. We've been at it. And unfortunately, our original plan of creating jobs, of creating businesses, of universal health coverage has taken a beating. And that's what happened. And when the president decides that he wants to change the priorities of his administration or change the people he wants to work with, that's his prerogative, and I respect that.
Yes, and I'll take you back to Bomas of Kenya sometime last year.
Yes.
For what is taken by many, including myself, as the president's side of the story. He gave an analogy.
Yes.
That this is a relay. He has the baton right now.
Correct.
And he's supposed to pass it to you.
Yeah.
He suggested that at the right time. And what he said is, you want the baton a bit too early. If we are to open that analogy up, it means you've been overly eager to run for president, talking about your 2022 presidential bid, apparent to his discomfort, as he expressed in Bomas.
Well, that's how the president views it. I view it differently. There is absolutely nothing I have done differently from 2013 to now. But after 2017, and nobody complained about going to launch government projects, going to inspect government projects, facilitate government activity in every part of the country. From 2013 to 2017, I did that. But after 2017, it became problematic to some people And some people started to raise issues. Why are you going to launch a government road? Why are you going to launch a TVET project? Why are you? I haven't changed the style of my politics. And I told them, and I even sat down with the president one time, and I told him, this is my style. This is me. You found me this way. I have worked with you this way from the time we started. And the reason why the president paired up with me, he had many choices, is because he knew my capacity. He knew what I can do. And unfortunately, immediately after the election in 2017, some team, a cabal of sorts, came up with a Stop Ruto movement. And you heard it. Morades of this world started to say all manner of things, that we are going to create a movement to stop Ruto. And they executed their plan. They started first to try and demonize me. Oh, William Ruto is corrupt. Oh, we are going to do a lifestyle audit. They went ahead to remove anybody who was a semblance of being a friend to me in government. They went ahead to remove everybody who had a semblance of being a friend of William Ruto in every committee in Parliament. Leader of majority in National Assembly, leader of majority in Senate, whips, what? All that happened, you know, but I took it in its strides. Many of them, I think, thought that by trying to humiliate me, I would throw tantrums and maybe take on the president or do those other things. But I am seasoned. I have been here for a while. I am no longer a young man. I understand many things differently.
No.
And I know that this is just a seasonal thing, you know. And I know the place of a deputy president. You're vulnerable. You're prone to people who have the presidency here.
And actually the accusation...
Trying to accuse you of all manner of things.
And the accusation, deputy president, is actually that you don't know the place of a deputy president.
I do.
And that in the first term, you are a sort of co-president.
I have never been. I know my place. And I want you, and I even asked the president, my boss, this. I want any information to be produced that I have done in private or in public to disrespect the president or to elevate myself beyond what my duties are. And the president was candid with me. He told me there is no such information because the director of intelligence was sitting there. I told the director of intelligence, can you produce any information that you have that in private or in public I have disrespected the president or tried to be the person I'm not, both in public and in private. If there is one person who has shown respect to President Uhuru Kenyatta, is myself. And I am very clear in my mind that very many deputy presidents are fought. It is an unfortunate situation. And given an opportunity, I would not allow my deputy president to be humiliated the way former deputy presidents have been humiliated and the way I have been humiliated. I will not allow.
Back to the analogy of the relay race and the baton, do you think it is over as far as President Kenyatta passing the baton to you in next year's election, considering some of the statements he has made, including when he had a meeting in Sagana where he said that, and this was an insinuation, that he's not going to leave leadership to thieves. What did you think he meant?
Maybe you should ask him. But let me take you back, Linus. The people of Kenya will elect the next president. The next president is not going to be appointed, right? And that's why I have been very categorical. When I decided to support President Uhuru Kenyatta, I did not give him any conditions. I did not tell him, I am supporting you so that you can support me. No. I did not tell him that when you finish, you should hand over the baton to me. I did not. I knew very well that if I were to run, I would have to assemble myself and face the people of Kenya with an agenda, right? So, not just me. I don't think anybody should expect to be appointed president of Kenya or to be given the presidency of Kenya by anybody. It is the people of Kenya who will decide. And, you know, there has been a narrative that has been built because the president said that yangu kumi, ya Ruto kumi, right? I have never said that kind of a statement. It is the president who has said. And the president is an adult. He can change his mind.
Do you think he's changed his mind?
I mean, he's entitled to change his mind.
Do you think he's changed his mind?
I don't know. Maybe you should go. Maybe you should ask him.
Yako kumi. Do you think it's...
No, I mean, that was his statement. And you know, I am saying the president is entitled to change his mind because he's an adult, right? And I will not take no offense because he owes me nothing, right? I chose to support Uhuru Kenyatta when many people did not want to support him, right? And I chose to support him because in him I saw that I can build a partnership that will transform Kenya. And we have made tremendous progress. We have not, maybe on a scale of 1 to 10, maybe we didn't get 10, maybe we got 7, but that's a good pass, right? So I'm very clear in my mind that the president remains my friend, whether he supports me or not. We have a relationship. We've been together since Kanu days. We've worked together. We've been taken to Hague together. We've done many things together. We've run government together. So he remains my friend. Whether he supports my bid, that is if I run for president next year, or if he does not. And I have said categorically that the president owes me no debt. That if he doesn't support me, I will take no offense. And I am very clear in my mind that it is the people of Kenya who will decide who the next president will be.
Right, and you say you have a relationship, but politically speaking, the conversation we've had from beginning of this interview up to now has painted the picture of a clearly irredeemable sort of political relationship. You sit here as an isolated deputy president because it doesn't give you any formal roles. We don't see you in government functions and things like that. You also locked out of the Jubilee headquarters here in Nairobi, and the Secretary General, Raphael Tuju, made it clear that you're not welcome to that building. So the question tonight, DP, is what are you doing in the Jubilee administration? You're not wanted, are you?
You know, I was not elected deputy president by Raphael Tuju. I was elected deputy president by the people of Kenya. Right? So I occupy this office by virtue of the decision of 8 million Kenyans who voted for Uhuru and myself. And so, whether I'm locked out of Jubilee headquarters, and that's a very emotional thing for me. Many people don't understand the history of Jubilee. We came from a very bad past where politics was prosecuted on the platform of ethnicity and hate and division. President Uhuru Kenyatta and myself sat down and said, even if we don't win the election, we must sort out the politics. That's why we brought together almost 12 political parties to form Jubilee. And we created a monumental political party. And God was on our side because we have 173 members of parliament elected in our party.
But deep with that history now, isn't it?
The next political party is ODM with 172. We have 100, a whole 100 more members of parliament compared to the next political party.
Who are today, the members of parliament you're talking about, who are today divided into factions, two factions, one faction that supports the president and one that supports you. And maybe at this point you may want to make it clear as well, your dalliance with a new party called the United Democratic Alliance, whose members or members of parliament that are affiliated to it are also known to be your allies. Are you in Jubilee or are you in UDA?
I'm elected deputy party leader of Jubilee, right? Jubilee, and I told you this is very emotional to me because I have invested a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of effort, a lot of emotion in building Jubilee as a party. People who have no clue why we assembled this party to be able to create a platform where we can transform the politics of our nation, not to be about this ethnic community versus that ethnic community, but about issues, have taken hostage the party and dismembered it, right? They have engaged the party in a vicious fight. I go to Jubilee headquarters as a deputy party leader, right? I mean, and then they say the deputy party leader is persona non grata. Really? Okay. Then we have this, we've never had a meeting of the party. We've never had a meeting of the PG. I am a member of NEC. I am a member of every organ of the party, not a single meeting. The only meeting that takes place is a meeting where members are lectured and where members are expelled. Today, Jubilee as a party is at war with women members of parliament. We have, I think, 5 or 6 senators, women. They are at the verge of being thrown out of the party. We have persons living with disability. We're representing people with disability. The party wants to throw them out. We have the only minority, Ogiek, in the Republic of Kenya. For the first time, they got a nomination to Senate. The Jubilee Party wants to throw them out on account that they did not attend a meeting. Really? When a party acquires tendencies of expelling these, fighting with women, fighting with people with disability, fighting with minorities, fighting with its membership, then the party is headed in the wrong direction. And you see, I have tried all I could to try and see whether this can be worked out. unfortunately, it's difficult because the people who call the shots, the Murathes of this world and all the other characters there are hardly sober. You know, they appear on national television drunk. That's the level of impunity they have reached. And so it becomes necessary as a leader to think, you know. So I still hope that maybe something will happen and we can salvage Jubilee and put it in a place where it can have the original vision. But in the event that that does not work out, I mean, my friend, we have to have a plan B, you know. For us, we are lucky because we have a sister party now called, what you have said, the UDA. In the event that Jubilee is not available, I have had some of the people there say, oh, we will not even allow Ruto to run on this party. We will not allow all these other people. You know, a party that cannot field a candidate, you know, for parliamentary seats. It's become a trophy of some sort, right? So
you're calling UDA a sister party.
Yeah. There is a coalition agreement.
That suggests.
There is a coalition agreement between UDA and Jubilee.
Okay.
So in the event that Jubilee is not available, the next best option is UDA, which shares, because UDA has been working with Jubilee from before. So I think it's the next best option. But it will become an option if Jubilee decides that they don't need, and if they continue with the expulsion spree that is currently going on. I mean, you have to think, my friend Linus. You have to think.
And how far that thought is what I'm interested in, how far the thought of leaving Jubilee is, because you've enumerated.
Many members of parliament are not as patient as I am. So many members of parliament have opted and have decided that it's time to leave. I am the last person left standing, you know. But many members of parliament have decided, no, I mean, we have to think about our future. Maybe the deputy president can cushion himself somehow. So, and I can't. It's not in my place to decide for members of parliament. These are people who are elected independently of me. They are elected by their own people, by their own electorate, and they make independent decisions. So that's maybe what you're referring to.
Now, Deputy President, you spoke of these tribulations and said it's not new for a deputy president, and before you there are vice presidents to be fought. And one that you would remember in history is that of the vice presidency of Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, which ended in 1966. When it becomes untenable, what we have seen in the past and what we see elsewhere is people resign. They say, it's not working for me in government and in the ruling party, I resign. Do you have intentions to invoke Article 148(8) and say, as DP, I'm resigning?
I am not yet there, because there are people who believe that they can push me to resign. That's the whole scheme. You know, let's humiliate William Ruto. Let's deny him access to this. Let us cut the budget of his office. Let us do this. Let's do the other. But you see, I want to remind those people that I was elected. The electorate in Kenya went to polls to elect me alongside President Uhuru as President Uhuru and Deputy President William Ruto. I am not going to give them the opportunity for them to celebrate their effort to push me out of this government. I will not give them that chance.
And is it gotten as bad as the level of taking different vaccines? Mm-hmm. AstraZeneca is here through the COVAX program, and government is rolling it out free of charge. And the position of government is vaccines will be free of charge for all Kenyans. Do you support that position? And if you do, don't you think it was problematic in terms of the optics that you give as Deputy President of this country that you chose a commercial vaccine?
Linus, we are in the middle of a very serious pandemic. Yeah, we are in the middle of a very serious pandemic. Lives have been lost. Livelihoods have been lost. We are in dire straits. Our economy is beaten because of this coronavirus. Many countries are doing everything possible to get their people vaccinated. Many countries are looking for every available vaccine, type notwithstanding. This type, the other type. Many countries have 4, 5, 6, 7 different vaccines being rolled out in their countries, because the most important thing now is not a debate about which vaccine. The most important thing now, because I have heard very unfortunate statements, people trying to say, oh, Sputnik is more expensive than AstraZeneca. Oh, what are you saying? I saw a person who is supposed to be a serious leader in Kenya to try and say, oh, you know, I took the cheaper vaccine. By the way, the policy of government is that every Kenyan is going to be vaccinated free of charge. So the issue of price doesn't arise, right? So let's get it fast from the realm of petty politics. Oh, this vaccine is better than this. This vaccine is more expensive than that. That's a whole hogwash, right? We must. It is my position that we should not curtail. The moment we start to say it is only one vaccine, you begin to introduce the cartel mentality. We must open up the space. We must give opportunity for us to access every available vaccine, because, Linus, we decided in cabinet that because we have 1 million vaccines, let us allow frontline health workers, policemen, and other people who are in the vulnerable group, people who are aged
58
and above,
yes,
to take the first line, right? When the president then decided that it was time for him and cabinet to take the vaccine, I think inadvertently somebody forgot to invite me. So I was not available during that exercise. And I'm not blaming anybody. Maybe some secretary there forgot to inform me. And I know very well from where I sit that we have 1 million vaccines. I know very well that if I did not go to State House, I have a choice of going to queue in the health center next to my residence here. But what would that do, right? I would maybe probably take a vaccine that would have been taken by a Mama Mboga or somebody else. Linus, the vaccine that I took costed 7,000 to a deputy president. You want to tell me I cannot pay 7,000 shillings for a vaccine that is available? Not because it's different, not because it's expensive, but because we have 1 million vaccines and we have to vaccinate 20 million Kenyans.
For you, it should not be an issue of cost.
For your information, it is my position. Yeah? And if I were asked to articulate my position, we should have every available vaccine type notwithstanding. We should encourage the private sector, as so long as it's approved by government, the private sector to roll out. Let Kenyans who can afford to pay, pay. Let those who cannot afford, we should even bring it to Nyayo Stadium. What the most important exercise we should be engaged in now is the vaccination exercise. We should spend every coin as government and anybody else who can afford to make sure that we are vaccinated, because that is the only way. Once we have vaccinated almost 70% of Kenyans, that's the only way we will open up this economy. As we talk today, people are hurting. Families are sleeping hungry. You know, while we are having a debate as to why have you taken this vaccine? Why haven't you taken this vaccine? By the way, Sputnik was approved by the government of Kenya, right? And I was ready, you know. If I had been invited, because it was important for the president to be vaccinated in public, I was vaccinated in public. I did not announce that I got somebody from the private sector to come and vaccinate me here. I did not announce that I paid.
And this is not to interrupt you, DP, but you speak of a cabinet meeting.
Yeah.
And a cabinet decision around this vaccine issue. And my assumption is you attended that cabinet meeting. Why didn't you articulate these positions there?
There was no debate about which vaccine. You know, there was no debate. The debate was introduced by people who are petty, you know, or, you know, there is a better vaccine. So these people who are saying the government bought a cheaper vaccine, are they saying that the government bought a lower quality vaccine? What are they saying? You know, they are actually insulting us in government. The issue of cost does not arise. Every Kenyan, irrespective of whatever vaccine, and I am sure that soon we should be registering Johnson & Johnson, we should be registering Pfizer, we should be registering other vaccines, because there is clearly a scramble for vaccines. It is not time for us to choose whether it is this vaccine or the other vaccine. The most important thing in the world today, what countries are doing today, is to get any vaccine. Germany has registered Sputnik.
And what you're saying,
AstraZeneca. What you're saying, registered Johnson & Johnson.
What you're saying, DP, is not different from what the Ministry of Health is telling us. All the Ministry of Health is saying is the vaccination, the vaccines have to be brought through government, either through COVAX, AU, you can access from the African Union, or government to government. That is where the point of contention is. I don't think the ministry is saying you can't do other vaccines.
And nobody is arguing with that. I am not arguing with it either. It is just that when I wanted to be vaccinated, the person who was available, you know, without me going to take the vaccine that would have been taken by Mamamboga, was a person who had a Sputnik vaccine, and it was approved by government of Kenya. But now that the government has banned it, I have no problem. You know, I'm not pushing that Sputnik should be used as a vaccination. If the government has decided that it has been banned for whatever reason, I don't know.
I want us to take a break.
Maybe when I meet the Ministry of officials, they will give us some sound reasoning, and that it is different. That other countries are buying all the array of vaccines, but in Kenya we will only buy one. Maybe we have a good reason, and I have no problem with that. But in my own judgment, I do not think we should be discouraging the private sector. I think we should be partners with the private sector, with government approval. I think the government should not hoard, the vaccines. I think the government should approve. Once the government approves, let the vaccines be available.
And you're part of that government.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So let the government approve.
Yeah.
And that is that's what I thought.
We're going to take a break shortly, but twice or thrice now you've made reference to going to that Mama Mboga, take a vaccine with the Mama Mboga. Are you still a hustler?
But I am the chief hustler.
Because the right thing would have been to take the Mama Mboga vaccine.
There is no Mama Mboga vaccine. There is only vaccines, for your information. The Mama Mboga vaccine is a story created by people who are deficient.
No, you spoke about it yourself and said...
No, I'm saying...
Yeah, you just said your option would have been to go line up with Mama Mboga.
No, I say...
Is there anything wrong with that?
No. The option I said, I would have gone and taken a vaccine that a Mama Mboga would have taken. Because it is free. I am here as deputy president, and surely I can pay 7,000. I have seen some of my colleagues, some of my competitors say, William Ruto took the expensive vaccine and yet he claims he's a hustler. If I ask them, so if they become sick, will they go to Kenyatta Hospital? So you will find them in Aga Khan, and you will find them in Nairobi Hospital. Let's be realistic. If you are in a position to pay for something, for heaven's sake, make a contribution. Allow the other people who are not in a position to pay to get the government vaccine, because in any case, we have 20 million Kenyans to vaccinate, which by today, I think we have vaccinated 550,000, right? At this rate, we will take years. We actually need a much more comprehensive program on vaccination so that we can finish the vaccination in 2 or 3 months.
Right.
We must have vaccinated 20 million Kenyans. Right. And that's the plan we should have.
Yeah,
that's the most important plan
at
this point in time.
Thank you, Deputy President. We'll talk about that plan and others on the other end of this short break.